Okay, this is the lesson of, the rest of the lesson of 5.1. So first of all, we need to talk about what a polynomial is. A polynomial is a combination of monomial terms separated by plus or minus. So a monomial term is just one term, so like 3x is a monomial, and the second you start adding or subtracting things to it, it becomes a polynomial. So when you combine those individual terms, it's called a polynomial. Yeah?
Would just 3 be a polynomial?
Would what?
Just 3. Not now, it's just the number 3.
Just 3, that's a monomial. Monomial is one term, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. But yeah, I guess it could be considered. It's a constant, actually, is the correct word. So, if it's a polynomial, they cannot contain any of the following items. So, the first thing is you cannot have variables raised to a negative or fractional exponent. Fill this in on your notes. If you don't have your note packet, get out a piece of paper and write this down. Variables raised to a negative or fractional exponent. You cannot, a polynomial cannot have a negative or fractional exponent.
Is there anything we can do to get the glare off?
No, it's just where you're sitting. If you moved, it'd be somewhere else.
What's right before?
You have variables in the denominator. If you have variables in the denominator, that means it is not a polynomial. So what I mean by that is if you had 1 over x, if the variable is in the denominator of the fraction, then it is not a polynomial. If the variable is in the numerator or beside it, that's fine. So you could have 1/2 x, or you could have x over 2. That's fine. It's just the variable cannot be in the denominator. And you cannot have variables underneath the radical. So if you ever see you can have a radical, so if you had radical 3, that's fine. But if you had radical 3x, where x is under the radical, then it is not a polynomial. And then you can't have any special features, which you probably won't see. Some of these you don't even know yet. Absolute value, trig functions, and logarithms. The only one that you know is absolute value. The absolute value looks like this. So if you saw an absolute value of a variable, then it's not a polynomial. The degree of a polynomial is the degree of the monomial with the greatest degree. That's a definition with the word degree in it too many times. I'm going to tell you what that means on the next page. So, I'm going to add something in really quick, which you guys have seen these words before, so hopefully it'll just be a quick review. A monomial,
You want us to write that down?
yeah, is 2 terms. A binomial is, monomial is 1 term. I'm getting ahead of myself. 1 term. A binomial is 2 terms. A trinomial is 3 terms.
I could have thought that try from the
And there's actually more words, like beyond 3 terms, but they just really focus on those 3. So a monomial, a binomial, and a trinomial is specific kinds of polynomials. Okay, so first of all, you're going to tell me if it's a polynomial. And if it is, we're going to state the degree, and we're going to determine if it's a monomial, binomial, or trinomial. The first one, go ahead and fill it in. 1/4 x to the 4th, y to the 3rd, minus 8x to the 5th. So first of all, I need to determine if it's a polynomial. So a polynomial cannot have the following. If it does not have these items, then it is a polynomial. Do we have any negative exponents? Do you see any negative exponents?
No.
No. Do you have any variables in the denominator of the fraction? No. I see a 4 in the denominator, but that's it. And I don't have any radicals. So this is a polynomial. Now that it's a polynomial, I need you to tell me, is it a monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Nope. This is one term, that's one term. So it's a binomial. Now that you know that, now we need to determine the degree. So let me explain what the degree is, because that definition is right out of the book, but it just doesn't make sense. You look at each individual term. If you have multiple variables, so if you have different variables, which we do, we have x's and y's. In this one, you're going to add the exponents. So we're going to add the exponents, and we have what? What's 4 plus 3?
7.
Okay. We have a 7 here. This exponent is a 5. There's only one variable. The degree of this term, of this polynomial, is the highest of those two numbers. So which one's higher, 7 or 5?
7.
So now after, let's say it was 8x to the 5th plus something, it would be trinomial.
Yes, if you added like plus 10 at the end of that, it'd be a trinomial. The degree would still be 7 because 7 would still be the highest number. The next problem, the square root of x plus x plus 4.
That's a trinomial.
Hold on. Is it a polynomial first?
No.
No. Why? Because you can't have any variables underneath the radical. If it's not a polynomial, it's not anything else. Okay. C, x to the negative 3 plus 2, x raised to the negative 2 plus 6.
It would be yes, right?
It's actually a no because you can't have negative exponents. So this one's a no. You ready for the next one? 2a is x over y plus 3x squared. I hear no and a yes.
I'm right, because the other two were no, so that's
It's
my
a
guess.
polynomial.
It's not.
It's not.
There's a variable in the denominator. Good job, Kaden. And the last one, I'll give you a second to write it down. X to the 5th y plus 9x to the 4th y to the 3rd minus 2xy.
This one's yes.
It is a yes. We don't have any variables in the denominator. We don't have any negative exponents.
It's a,
And we don't have any radicals. So it's a yes.
Would it be 7, 4 plus 3?
So this, wait, hold on. How many terms is it? 3. So it's a trinomial. We'll go ahead and write that. And now we need to figure out the exponents. This one is 6 because the y to the first has an exponent of 1. This one is a 7, and this one is exponents add up to 2. So it's a degree of 7. So the degree is 7. If you only have one variable, you can choose to write this down or not. This is entirely up to you. So I'll name it 2c. Let's do like 5x to the 3rd. 2x. Is it a polynomial?
Yeah.
Yes. What kind is it?
A 4 1.
It's a 4 one. Yeah. No, it's not that. It's something totally different. But anyways, what is the degree though? It's a 10. Yeah. So there's no, like in the previous problem we had x's and y's. This one we just have x's all the way through. So you just look for the highest exponent, which is a 10. Okay. Okay, so that is going over some vocabulary. Everything after this you guys have seen before.
What's the name for the full one?
I'd have to look it up. Honestly, I just,
Threw it in there.
I did look it up once. Not once. I usually do look it up every year and actually show it, but I didn't do that this year. I just totally forgot until I started teaching a few seconds ago. Okay, now we're going to be adding and subtracting and multiplying polynomials. So go ahead and flip you don't have to flip it over. It's at the bottom of that page. Go ahead and fill this in. 2x squared plus 3x minus 1, and that is in parentheses. The parentheses do matter. So there is a subtraction sign between the parentheses, and that means we need to subtract like terms. I would distribute that negative first. So if you want to make that like a 1 there and distribute the negative 1 to all those terms, and then you just combine like terms. So in front of the first set of parentheses, though, there's nothing here, right? So we don't have to distribute anything. So this just stays 4x squared minus 5x plus 6. When I distribute the negative, it becomes minus 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. And now you just combine like terms. You start with the highest exponent. Am I going too fast for anyone?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure. 4x squared minus 2x squared. You start with the highest exponent, square is the highest. So it's 4x squared minus 2x squared. 2x squared. Then go to your x's. Negative 5x minus 3x is how much? Minus 8x. And then we have 6 plus 1. Plus 7. So 2x squared minus 8x plus 7. So when there's a minus between the two sets, distribute the negative and then combine like terms. The next problem, there's a plus between the two sets of parentheses. Go ahead and fill in what's missing there. Plus 9x minus 5. If there's a plus, there's nothing to distribute, right? So basically, you can just drop the parentheses and combine like terms. You can rewrite it if you want, which I'm going to do that, but technically you don't have to. I'm just going to rewrite it without the parentheses. But technically you don't have to. You can just immediately start combining like terms. So start with your x squared. 6x squared minus 4x squared is what? 2x squared.
Plus 2x plus
Negative 7x plus 9, you said was what?
2x.
Plus 2x, and then my last one is 8 minus 5. 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So adding and subtracting, pretty simple, okay? Flip your note packet over, we're going to start multiplying. I have 4/3 x squared times 6x squared plus 9x minus 12. Fill that in on your notes. Anybody have their calculator out? Or the computer on? Okay, this is the distributive property. You're multiplying. Are we ready? We're going to take 4/3 x squared times 6x squared. So 4/3 times 6.
How do you get fractions again?
Alpha y equals enter on the calculator, but I'm not sure about that. How much? 4/3 times 6?
8.
I got 8.
8, thank you. 8x to what power? I have an x squared times an x squared. What do I do with those exponents?
They cancel.
No.
Or no, they
You add them, so it'd be an x to the fourth.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I need you to do 4/3 times 9x. So 4/3 times, 4/3 x squared times 9x. So take 4/3 times 9. 12, thank you. You have x squared times x. So what would that give you? X to the third. 4/3 times 4/3 x squared times negative 12. Negative 16 and then x squared, because the 4/3 x, or the 4/3 has an x squared with it, but the 12 didn't, so you got to keep it with the answer. Okay, that's the distributive property.
Now, would we just add them?
You can't. You don't have any like terms here. That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. They have to be the same exact exponent to be able to add them, and they're not. Okay, the next one. N squared plus 4n minus 6 times, fill in on your notes, n plus 2. What do we do here? Do what? What'd you say? I just couldn't hear you. It's multiply. So, I just want to point this out. Make sure you watch, going back to this previous problem, make sure you watch if there's a plus sign between them, okay? Because I had people in the Delta Math do multiplication when it should have been addition. So make sure you watch for that on your,
Addition, it wouldn't change, right?
huh?
Addition, it wouldn't change.
Addition, you just add like terms.
Yeah,
But multiplication, we have to do the box method. Do you guys remember the box method?
kind of.
Or FOIL?
Is that where you write the numbers on the top and the side, and then you gotta like multiply them across?
Yep. So I have 3 terms here, so I need 3 columns. Times, I have 2 terms there, so I need 2 rows. You can also do 3 down and 2 across, but I just do it that way.
You know, this is the worst method that we've learned, like. this
Yeah,
one
I
sucks.
really hate this.
I don't need complaining.
No, I'm not complaining.
I'm just saying.
Well, how else do you want me to teach it?
Is there another
No,
way?
no, like this.
Yeah?
This is okay.
Is the other way like?
We don't want the other way, obviously.
The other way, there's so many more mistakes you can make.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm going to write n squared 4n negative 6 across the 3 boxes, and then n plus 2 down the side.
That two.
What?
That two.
That's a 2.
okay.
Does it not look like a 2?
Yeah, it looks like two.
I just, yeah.
Does that look like two there?
Yes. I just put a Z through, or a line through the bottom, like a middle.
Okay.
It's a Z, that's
Now let's move on. Let's do that box.
Wouldn't it be n squared?
Nope.
Thank you.
Into the third. You have n squared times n. This is like a first power. You add their exponents. Okay, let's do this box now.
Would it be 4n1?
Put a dot in there.
Yeah.
I put a dot in there so the people virtual knows which one I'm talking about. What is it?
I don't know.
4n times n.
4n squared.
Thank you. Okay. Now that one. Oops, I'm going to change colors in a minute. What?
Negative 6n.
Negative 6n. Okay. That one.
N.
2n squared.
Yeah, 2n squared.
2n squared.
6n.
Run out of colors.
6n.
No, you're
Or
multiplying.
8, yeah, 8n.
8n. Okay. And then the last one.
I got 12.
I'm seriously running out of colors here. What is it?
Negative 12.
Negative 12. Okay, so you multiply to get the numbers in the box. What do you do now?
Now you, divide.
Nah.
Now you add like terms.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember how
Start
to
with your
do that.
highest exponent. What's my highest exponent?
Negative 12. Negative 3.
Highest exponent.
Oh.
And
3. Yeah, into the third. There's nothing else to combine with this one, right? There's no other into the thirds.
Nope.
So I'm just going to write into the third. Okay, now look for your n squareds. I have one here. Oops, I was trying to do a pen on that one. I have one here and here. They're both positive, so you would just add them. What is it? 6n squared. Now look for your, just the n, no exponent. I have negative 6n and a positive 8n.
Plus.
Plus 2n,
And then minus 12.
and then minus 12. That's your answer.
That's not as bad now that I think about it.
Any questions? Yeah. Yep. I can't see that. Okay, last one. We're not going to do all of these in the notes. We are going to do this next one, though. 2x minus 4, close the parentheses, and square it. That's weird. Okay, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Just put another parenthesis next to it, give me the exponent.
Yep. 2x minus 4 squared means 2x minus 4 times 2x minus 4. The squared means twice. So you have to write it twice, and then what method do we use?
Box.
Do the box method. I'm going to go ahead and do this by myself. You guys can do it yourself. See if you agree with my multiplication there.
Yeah.
And then my answer is going to
Oh, I
be
forgot to
4x squared minus 16x plus 16.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Now, we're not going to do the next problem, but I'm going to show it to you just so you can see. We can talk about it really quick. How would we do that?
Box method.
Yeah, but a box method, you only have two problems. What?
to a very large block.
Oh, you have to do the box method with these two, the first two. If you do the box method,
You do it with the other one.
get an answer, then you take that answer and box method,
That's too many steps.
and then that would be your final answer.
Is that going to be common for us to see?
No, I put it on there, and I thought if we had time, but I don't want to spend the time on that because you're not going to have that. So your assignment for today is assignment 130 in Delta Math. There is no exit ticket. So I am going to take a grade on the assignment. So you must complete it. You have until tomorrow at the beginning of class to get it done.